All right, now we're ready. We're ready to start lesson 2 of chapter 8. We're halfway through the second chapter of Greece, and you guys have really done a great job. Looking forward to seeing what you come up with. We've talked about how the Greeks really influenced government. Now we're going to look and see how they influence other areas of life as well, and how they build on the areas of government. And it matters because of all these lasting contributions that they leave us that we're still using today through cultural diffusion. So there's going to be some great Greek thinkers. And these guys get together and they create the study of philosophy, which philosophy means the study of wisdom. So they want to spend their time becoming wiser, studying everything they can, reading all the books they can get their hands on, talking to other people who they consider to be really well educated and smart. And we're looking in Athens especially because that's where the center of education happens. These Greek thinkers ponder questions and they think really hard about things, mostly about the truth. And they help develop the study of science and math. And they're really going to make great strides in that. And we're going to see that in terms of what they create in terms of architecture, sculptures, and other mathematical formulas that they bring forward that nobody else has written down so far, but they get the credit for that for what they've done. So let's look at three guys to begin with. First one of our ancient Greek philosophers is going to be Socrates. And Socrates is from Athens, and he creates a method called the Socratic method. And this Socratic method is where the teacher just asks you questions to help lead you to the answer for yourself. And we do that a lot in class. Well, you'll say, well, where's level 1, for instance? I'll say, well, where is level 1? In my packet. Okay, well, where at in your packet? And then you'll get it out, and I'll say, where is it located in your packet? And you'll say, in the very back. And so you know the answer. Sometimes you just need help getting there. And so Socrates believed we should ask you questions and let you find out the answers for yourself. He also thought that the gods were make believe, that they weren't real. And this was a problem because the gods were a steady force in everybody's life. And so they thought that everybody else thought the gods were real, but Socrates said, well, maybe not. And he actually gets sentenced to death for this belief because he's upsetting everyone in society and messing with their traditions. And the government didn't like that because it created unrest. So he was sentenced for that belief. Guys, hold on a second. I could go take these cookies. I'm cooking. So I was baking some cookies. Had to get them out real quick. I started to smell them, so didn't want that. So Socrates, why would I have to get them out, you say? Well, what would they taste like if they were burned? Well, they wouldn't taste very good now, would they? Well, what should I do different next time? Maybe I should set a timer. So that's how Socrates would ask questions to lead people to the right answer. And then Plato is our next thinker we want to talk about. He is a great philosopher who is a student of Socrates, and he creates a school where everybody can come and learn, the academy. He wrote a book called The Republic, and he begins to define the three branches of government, begins to lay that out, but it's not totally set yet until Aristotle takes over where Plato leaves off. Aristotle wrote over 200 books, which makes him an amazing writer to begin with. And to think that he had to write books back there in this time when you can't print them like we can today, Aristotle was a very brilliant man. One of his most famous books was called Politics, and it actually defines the three types of government. Aristotle was Alexander the Great's teacher, and so we really remember Aristotle for what he taught Alexander the Great in terms of education and then what Alexander was able to do. So those are our three Greek philosophers. Okay, so there were more guys, not just those philosophers that are bringing more ideas out from the Greek world. We've got Herodotus here, and there's his name in Greek. It's not very easy to see. Of course, it's written in Greek, so we don't read Greek around here, do we? But he's the father of history, Herodotus. And thanks to him, Herodotus, we know all about the Peloponnesian War. He traveled all over taking firsthand accounts, primary sources, and writing one of the first history books. He made sure all the stories were true, that he talked to people who were actually there, and that's why he's considered the father of history. He didn't just take anybody's word for it. He looked for primary sources, people that were actually there at the time. Well, another gentleman that made some strides in his area of study was Hippocrates. We call him the father of medicine. All right, guys, we've got two fathers going on. That means they started it first. It's in the very beginning, and they're one of the first people to do it. So Hippocrates is the father of medicine. And if you go to school and you graduate from law school, you will take what we call the Hippocratic Oath. And the Hippocratic Oath says it's rules for doctors. And one of the first rules says first you'll do no harm. Because before this time, doctors, the only way they could find out about the human body was actually looking inside a human body. There were no books written on it. There was no way you could go look at pictures, nothing like that. So they're just getting started. And so sometimes doctors did things that were not very ethical, which means they were not very right, and people would get hurt. And Hippocrates says, no, don't do that. First, do no harm. So he came up with these rules that doctors should follow. And today we honor him as the father of medicine, and our doctors still take that Hippocratic Oath. Now, another guy that you may just absolutely love is Pythagoras. And Pythagoras came up with a lot of geometric formulas that we still use today. And one of them is Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared plus c squared. And it's how you find it's not the length of a triangle there, guys. That should say the area of a triangle. So the formula for finding the area of a triangle is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So if you want to write that down, you will be using that formula for a long time to come, and it allows you to find out the area inside a triangle. Well, did you know that the Hippocratic we just talked about that, and doctors should do their best to help their patients, right? You don't want them to hurt them. They all take that Hippocratic Oath. The Hippocratic Oath is still honored by doctors today, and it's a very prestigious thing. You've finished your doctorate, you've studied you passed all your tests, and now you're ready to become a practicing doctor. And you promise to follow these rules that Hippocrates set forward. All right. So, of all the Greek philosophers that we've talked about, which one do you think is the most important? There were 3 on the other screen and 3 on this screen. So, you should have 6 men in your notes that you could choose one that you think is the most important, the one that you think makes the biggest impact on today, and why. All right, so now, guys, this is a hot question. This is 3 to 5 sentences. 3 to 5. 3 to 5. Okay, guys, I'm going to say this one more time. 3 to 5. I need to see some information written down on your paper that you've actually thought about this. Tell me why you think your guy, whoever you choose whoever you want, whichever one you think appeals to you, and tell me why they are the most important. And 3 to 5 sentences. If you don't have 3 to 5 sentences with capital letters and punctuation on the end, then you did not do this correctly. All right? I want to see lots of good answers. I want to put gold stars, Bryce, on everybody's paper. I know you and Rachel, y'all always ask me for gold stars. Maybe I'm going to run to Walmart and get you some. But I want to see gold star worthy answers, okay? Please bring those to us. Let us see that. 3 to 5 sentences. I want to see it. I'm excited, and I'll see you guys tomorrow in class. Have a